this video, we're going to talk about the 7 ways to create success in real estate investing. And I'm going to break down these key principles that I've learned in the course of investing since 2013 in single-family homes, student rentals, apartment buildings, multifamily properties, duplex conversions, Airbnbs, and just condense it to the most important 7 principles that if you follow, you will be able to create success in real estate investing. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Koukun and I'm a real estate investor and I run a real estate team here in the Niagara region that helps investors buy and sell rental properties. If you're interested in knowing more about what we do, check out some of the links in the description below. The first way to create success is to focus on action over analysis. Many beginner real estate investors spend so much time analyzing to death the real estate deals in front of them. They pull out their financial calculators, their spreadsheets, and they run every single scenario. I'm guilty of this myself. I love my spreadsheets, so we will spend so much time analyzing a deal. The reality is you will not be able to fully know the extent of what numbers to plug in and what's involved in any real estate deal before you start. And especially if it's your first deal, there's so much that you cannot predict that will come up in the process of your purchase that you will just have to learn to adapt on the go. So focus on taking action over analyzing it to death. There needs to be some analysis. You need to have some criteria of how you're going to go about this purchase, but decide that ahead of time and just stick to it and take action. And when I say take action, there's a few components to it. One is actually to purchase the property that you're going to buy. But even before that, right now in Ontario, we have a very active seller's market. So it is very hard to get offers accepted and prices are sky high. What we're finding is many of our investor clients are choosing to sit back and choose to sort of take it easy and wait for better times. That's a fair approach if you already have some investment properties. So even if prices increase further, you're going to do well. But if you're someone starting out, you need to be active, because even in an active seller's market, there are always deals and always opportunities to find. And the people who find them are those that are very actively looking and coming out to see properties, checking it out, seeing how many offers are on properties and seeing if there's potential to get a property at a price where it makes sense for you as an investment. The second way to success is to focus on positive cash flow properties. This is something that is a principle of mine that I will not deviate from. Now, when I say positive cash flow, I want to caveat it with cash flow to cover your maintenance, cash flow to cover the unexpected expense that comes up. I'm not talking about creating positive cash flow as a means of profit. At least here in Ontario and in any expensive real estate market, you're going to have a hard time finding properties with a good cash on cash return that's going to justify your investment. The real profit that comes from real estate investing is in the equity, in the price appreciation, in the mortgage pay down, and creating value over time. And the rents may go up over time, creating that cash flow in the future where you can really take it out and use it. To start with, I wouldn't focus on creating cash flow that you can take as profit, but rather some cash flow, be it $300, $500 a month. If it's a duplex, maybe a little bit less if it's a single family home. Just something to build up your bank account and to cover unexpected expenses that may arise in the future. Now, my first rental property purchase, which is this photo back here, is a townhouse in the city of BRRRR. This was a property we bought in 2013 and we rented it out until 2020 when the pandemic set in and we decided to sell it to our tenant actually. The third way to create success in real estate investing is to stay the course. This is why the second point of creating cash flow is so important. When it comes to real estate investing, the most money you're going to make is by buying and holding good properties over long periods of time. This is a type of investment that requires patience. While flipping, the BRRRR strategy, all these techniques to create a profit quickly sound sexy and they sound enticing, especially if you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money. You get caught up in these ideas of creating wealth and creating momentum in your investing where you can pull money out to buy the next property. Listen, I love that strategy. I love those ideas. It's just that the reality of the real money that is made in real estate comes from holding good properties over time. You can incorporate the BRRRR strategy. You can even incorporate flips if that's what you want to do. But don't get distracted by it. And especially when you're starting out, I would focus more on the longer term investing strategies. Let me share a story. So this property behind me is the first property that I actually purchased. It's a townhouse in the city of Barrie, and we bought this property for $250,000, I believe, back in 2013. We sold this property in 2020 for $420,000. We made a good profit. We actually sold it to the tenant who was already living there. He was a great tenant for many years, and we asked him if he was interested in purchasing it from us at the beginning of the pandemic. 2 years later, this property actually resold, a comparable townhouse in that area resold for $890,000, over a double of what we paid him. The reason we sold this property, however, was that it was negative cash flow. We were losing money on a monthly basis, something small like $100 or so. And primarily the reason for that was we pulled the money out to buy the fourplex. We ended up flipping as well, and we renovated all the units, and we made a good profit on that property. But the reason we could not hold on to this property and get that huge gain over the last 2 years was that it was a negative cash flow property. So align your investing strategy so that you will be able to hold on to the properties you buy for as long as possible, and it will give you some of the greatest results in real estate investing. When it comes to flipping or other strategies like the BRRRR strategy, there are things you can consider, but never forget that the real money in real estate is made in the buy and hold. The fourth way to have success in real estate investing, it again goes hand in hand with the second and the third ones when it comes to cash flow and when it comes to buying and holding. The fourth way is to make sure you have reserves, having access to cash, whether it's in a savings account, in an emergency account. Maybe it's in index funds that you can sell at any time and withdraw. Maybe it's in the form of a line of credit that you can tap into when you need. But having reserves is so important when it comes to real estate investing. A roof can go at any time, a foundation can leak. There's many expenses that may come up in the property, just maintaining the property, that need to be taken care of when it happens. These are the things you want to account for. You want to have either cash set aside, and you want to have a property that can cash flow so that you can build up an account to pay for these expenses over time. The fifth way to create success in real estate investing is taking a little bit of a step back and focusing on the end almost before you start. Figure out why you want to invest in real estate. I find that so many people start investing in real estate with this idea of, making money, making equity. All of that is good, but start with, what does it actually do to your life? If you can make $100,000 in profit on a rental property, what does that do to your life? Is there something that it can help you achieve? And this is different for everyone, but it's important to figure out what it is that you truly want and how real estate can play a role to helping you get that. It can be retirement, it can be saving for your kids' college, it can be, creating a safety net that you can rely on if something were to happen to your job. Whatever it is, figure it out. It's going to be something personal to you. It doesn't have to be this massive goal. It can be something as simple as you want to take a vacation a year and you want to make sure that, you don't feel terrible that you're not saving money because you're spending it on traveling. Well, if you have a property that's building equity for you on the side, maybe you don't need to save as much money from your paycheck. So it may be something as simple as that, but figure it out for you. This is going to give you motivation to stick through the tough times that will come in the process of real estate investing. Trust me, I've had multiple vacancies happen at the same time. I've had, crazy expenses from contractors go well above budget, delays from the city. There's all sorts of things that can happen in real estate investing. It's important to know why you're doing it so that it makes sense to stick through those tough times to get to the good times ahead. The sixth way to create success in real estate investing is to really understand that real estate investing is an amazing investment. It is actually a very difficult career. And I know this because I made this my career. So I run a real estate team. We help investors buy and sell homes. That's a way we create an income for ourselves, separate from our actual rental properties that we own for the long term as investments. Many investors come to me and many times they're frustrated with their job. They don't see potential. Maybe they're entrepreneurial. They want to do something outside of a 9-to-5. And they look at real estate as that avenue, which is fine. It's a great side hustle. It's a great investment that you can put a little bit of effort into and have great long-term results. it becomes very tricky if you start to look at it as a way to create an income for yourself. Pretty much every way that I've seen that you can create a reasonable income that you can live off of in a short amount of time becomes a job. And that can be being a real estate agent, being a contractor, getting into flips, getting into short-term rentals. There's a lot of ways to create more income out of a rental property, but it then turns into a job, and then you really have to ask yourself, is that the job you want to pursue? Because you might as well do the job that you really want to pursue, and maybe it's different from real estate, while investing in real estate on the side and really having real estate work for you. So it's important to know that distinction. The seventh way to create success in real estate investing is to know that passive income is truly a myth. It's one of the biggest lies that I've heard of, and it's typically used as a way to sell you some stupid product or course or something that makes you believe that, hey, I can do this within a year, I can live off of my investments. It is probably one of the biggest lies that there is, even in real estate investing. If you're starting with nothing, or if you're starting with very little amount of money, it is going to take time for you to create success. If you're really savvy, maybe you can do it faster, but I really would recommend get this idea of passive income, throw it out of the window. If you truly want passive income, create a net worth of $2, $3, $4 million, and then take 2, 3, 4% of that on a yearly basis and live off of it. That can be in a real estate portfolio where you pay off all your mortgages and you take the cash flow. That is true passive income, but it takes a lot more net worth than most people realize to create a portfolio that you can truly live off of. So I would take this idea, throw it out the window, just focus on getting started, have your real estate work for you on the side, and do a job, do a career, do something that is meaningful to you and something that you can feel good about doing on a regular basis, and just let the real estate work for you on the side. Don't place so many unrealistic expectations on your real estate that it has to produce a certain amount of cash flow on a monthly basis so you can live off of that income. I've seen very few people pull it off successfully, and the ones that do are strapped to a shoestring budget where they barely have enough money after paying for their necessities, and every time a furnace breaks, every time some issue comes up with their rentals, it becomes an emergency because they're taking every dollar they can to live off of. It's not a life that I recommend. So again, passive income, I would truly say is a myth when it comes to starting out in real estate investing. You get to a certain net worth in your real estate, your portfolio is going to create enough cash flow to live off of, maybe more, but that comes over a long period of time and really reinvesting and continuing to grow your portfolio. So I would just not even think about that as a reason to get into this, and it's just a small benefit that you get after creating wealth through real estate. Hope you found this helpful. These are the 7 ways to create success in real estate investing. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll answer every question that you ask. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe. We'll be posting more videos like this for you to enjoy. All the best.